was 4 when I was diagnosed with epilepsy. And when I would have a seizure, there would be foam coming out of my mouth. And they were grand mal seizures.
So Jenna's disability was caused by a grand mal seizure that lasted a long time, and the longer a grand mal seizure lasts, it starts damaging the brain. So she got her brain damage from a grand mal seizure that lasted a long time, and so then she was dealing with brain damage as well as having childhood epilepsy, which obviously was a very struggle. But yeah, so
it was tough. It was really draining for my family, emotionally draining. I mean, what do you do as a mom? I'm not a mom yet, but what do? You have a sick kid. You do the best that you can. You have a sick kid that is having seizures on the ground, and you don't know what to do. I'm not a mom, so I can't even imagine how my mom felt, but it's not like I was spoiled in a sense of, oh, you're gonna get away with everything. And so many people just mistreated me because of that, and they got so mad. And it's like, my parents did the best they could.
it was really hard because of the seizures, and the frequency of the seizures. She had to wear a bicycle helmet pretty much everywhere she went publicly. She wasn't allowed to play on jungle gyms because if she had a seizure and she was on top of a jungle gym or even the top of the slide and she had a seizure, she could fall and hurt herself really bad, or break her neck, whatever. So she couldn't play like normal kids could play. Well, I hate using the word normal, but the average kid could play on things like that, and she couldn't. Even swings, so we could put her in the baby swings, but she couldn't actually be on a swing because if she had a seizure mid-swing, she'd obviously fall off the swing. So it was a really hard young childhood for her. She didn't feel normal because she had to walk around with a bicycle helmet. I wasn't there for this, but I remember being told that she had gone to McDonald's with somebody, a family member, an extended family member, and she had a grand mal seizure in the middle of McDonald's. And she woke up to a bunch of strangers staring at her, and she was on the floor. But still, the doctor told us some of the possible consequences, and he didn't sugarcoat things. He said there's definitely a good chance she'll have brain damage because of the length of time of the grand mal seizure. And it could be, he gave us varying degrees of how bad it could be, and he said it could be where when she wakes up, she won't know who she is, she won't know her name, she won't know who we are. She may have to learn to walk again and talk again, and basically just be an infant again at 4 years old. So that was, of course, very terrifying, and that was a really long 7.5 hours before she woke up. But all sorts of things are running through your head. I remember the room clearly. It was decorated for kids. Right off to this side, there was a little
10 or 11, the seizures stopped, and I stopped having to take medication. But because of the impact of hitting my head so much, it caused brain damage. And as I got older and I entered into like high school, I did get bullied a lot, and I ended up in a Skills for Life class with other kids that struggled with disabilities, and all the teachers would tell my family that I would never graduate, and that I'm too stupid, to graduate. And my entire life, people were telling my parents that I was incapable of a lot. And getting bullied was rough because whenever I'd walk into the school, I just felt so uncomfortable, and I don't know, I felt just watched all the time. Like I felt so uncomfortable. And although I made some friends, and you know, like as I got older, sometimes the bullying did eventually stop a little bit, but as soon as I entered grade 12, I knew that it was my last year in school, and I wanted to do something for myself, and I was so tired of everyone telling me that I was never going to graduate and that I was never going to be successful. So I told my EA that I wanted to do my grade 12 exam on my own, no help, and I did, and I passed. And that was a very proud moment, an emotional moment for my family, because I was told, especially my family was told the same thing. Like we were all told that like I would never graduate and all this stuff.
As an adult, I've watched her struggle with a lot of stuff. She's very smart, and don't think because she has brain damage and has a disability that she's not smart. She is smart. It just takes her longer to get things. But she does have I think the brain damage has affected her ability to kind of see outside the box. Something's clear to her, she's told something, it's one thing, but something that the average person would just know doesn't occur to her.
The impact of my brain injury from my seizures has impacted my adulthood by a lot. I don't have seizures anymore, but because of the way I learn, and because of the impact of the brain hitting my head, I don't have the same abilities as other people do. I can't drive because my brain isn't able to, it doesn't have the ability to just focus on a road for like that long.
For example, obviously growing up, she was either lived with her mom or me. When she graduated, she moved in with her older sister in a room and board situation, so all she knew was she pays her sister money and everything's paid for. So things like bills and stuff didn't really occur to her because she hadn't had to pay them. Then when she moved out onto her own, it was not too long before she was moving out, and I asked her, did you get hydro set up? And she said, I have to set that up. And why would she know that? I took care of hydro, her mom took care of hydro, her sister took care of hydro. It's her first time having to take care of bills herself, so it didn't occur to her. And the average person might think at 19 years old, I'm gonna have to get hydro, but that's part of what her brain damage has affected her. She just didn't think about it, never entered her mind, because it's not something she's had to deal with before, and it's not something someone's told her she's had to do. So that's a good example of just how she needs to be told stuff. Otherwise it just may not occur to her, and no fault of her own. It's just the way her brain works. She always saw the good in people, but she wouldn't see the red flags. So when you're a young female and you have people around you and they know that you don't necessarily notice red flags or problem behavior, it's very easy for you to become a victim. And there are unfortunately lots of people out there that victimize people like that. And she was victimized with bullies, she was victimized online by people. And that's really hard as a parent to watch.
It caused brain damage. And
And bullying is so bad out there, and there's always those people that will seek out people like Jenna, or people that are just overly nice, or they just want to have friends, and they'll put up with stuff just to have that friend, and they don't see that these people aren't true friends. And it's really hard watching that and not being able to do anything about it, because when you try to talk to them about it, I mean, they're teenagers, they're not going to listen. And I would try to explain to her what red flags I saw, and she just couldn't grasp what I was saying. She's gotten better. I mean, teen years, hormones, all these things are a big tornado, right? As she's grown better, she's grown up, she's gotten better. She's gotten better at a lot of things. She's really, obviously she applied herself to graduate. That was still, to me, a superhuman achievement, considering where she came from, what she was dealing with, and that outside of her immediate family, she literally had no support. In fact, she had people making it harder for her by just letting her through and not teaching her anything.
Ridiculed, I've gotten judged, I've had coworkers bully me. And so I had a hard time dealing with that. If I'm being really honest, I've had a really hard time dealing with that, because like I already struggle enough with my brain and like trying to do things, and I do have a hard work ethic. Like I have a good work ethic. If like when I'm really committed to something, I'm a hard worker. But it's hard for me to be in a place where I am constantly, just put down. And I always tell everybody that hires me that, I have a learning disability, this is my struggles. And most of my jobs, they say they understand. They say they are willing to work with me, and then they don't understand it. So it's really hard, because disabilities don't just come in a physical form.
So she's always had the work ethic. She's always had the desire to be better. She never wants to be defined by her disability. And that was a hard balancing act too. On one hand, you don't want to baby her too much because she has a disability. You don't want to put limitations on her like other people did. But then you're also worried about her. So it's like, yes, you can do everything, but I'm going to sit here to catch you if you fall.
I have to have a little bit of help. And I've had a hard time over the last, I don't even know, like, pretty much ever since I graduated, I've had a really hard time accepting that I need help. And that
same point, like, I want to protect her, but I also understand her limitations, and I'm trying to impart on her my experience to try to help her avoid going through things that I went through. But as if any teenager, she's not the only one of my kids that did things that I warned them against. But yeah, it was really hard, really difficult for her and for us during her teen years.
Like, it hasn't been my first thought, obviously. I've never really been serious about hurting myself or seriously ending my life until a couple months ago. I was in a really dark place. I felt numb. I felt like I wasn't worthy. I felt like my disability was never gonna have, I just, in that moment, I felt like I'm never gonna be successful. And a lot of people don't understand that when you get rejected and you put yourself out there and you get rejected and you're trying to build a life for yourself and people just keep putting you down and putting you down, it sucks the life out of you. Because all you're trying to do is survive like everyone else. All you're trying to do is build a life for yourself. And I just was like, what's the point?
Get me out.
All I felt was, what's the point? If I'm not gonna get the life I want, why am I still here?
It's like every job that I try to get.
Thank God for the friends that I have, because one of my friends, my really good friends, I opened up to her about what was going on, and she connected me with the professional that I'm working with now, which is helping me heal from all my childhood traumas, and I can honestly say that I'm not in that place anymore. I don't feel like hurting myself. When I was a teenager, I did struggle with harming myself and all that because I was bullied, but I've never, that recent event of me actually not caring if I was dead or alive was real, and that I never experienced ever. And I think it was just from overworking myself, getting rejected, people like, you know, and it's not even about caring what people think. That's not, I've been judged my entire life. I don't live my life for others. I used to, but it's not even for me. It's not about what people think about me. It's about trying to put yourself out there into the world, trying to build a life for yourself, and employers or places or just doesn't want to help you or just rejects you after rejection after rejection. For me, it's not about, I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care what people think about me. If I did, I wouldn't even be doing this. I wouldn't be releasing this documentary. I wouldn't be being vulnerable online with my audience and sharing who I really am. If I really cared what people think, I'd be pretending to be someone I'm not, which I'm not doing. For me, it's about, I'm trying to put myself out there and I'm trying to build a life for myself. Just like everybody else on this fucking planet, I'm trying to build a life for myself. So yeah, being rejected multiple times and having just, it's almost like when nothing good is happening and you're just kind of like, you just kind of break. And another thing I want to talk about, a lot of the things that came with me being a child and me having seizures and growing up with a learning disability and having a brain injury from hitting my head is, I had even people close to me misunderstand me. I'm not going to say names obviously, but I've had people close to me judge me and misunderstand me and accuse me of being spoiled.
But I always am proud of how she will still go for it. Even when the odds are against her, if she sets her mind to something, she'll do it. Same with relationships. Every relationship has got better and better with her part in it.
Like, so yeah, I was hurt that people close to me were just saying, like, judging me and saying I was spoiled. Sure, I could have learned a little more independence as a kid. But I'm learning now, aren't I? And you know what? As hard as my childhood was in some ways, I've also had people tell me that they didn't even know I have a disability. Because I also have so much wisdom. I have such a unique brain. I have such a unique mindset. My mindset that I have now didn't just come from my disability. I've had a lot of other traumas in my life. I'm not going to go into that because that's not what this documentary is about. This is about my story and my struggles. And this is about being a voice for people that feel the same way I do. That have a disability and feel judged. That feel limited. This documentary isn't just about me. This is for people who don't feel they have a voice. This is for people that wake up every single day feeling limited, feeling rejected, and knowing how that feels to wake up every single day and look at someone and know that you are incapable of doing that. Or of doing some things. Disabilities is a real thing. People don't understand the struggles. They don't understand the limitations that we have. They don't understand how it feels to be misunderstood by so many people. The reality is, people have their opinions of me because they don't understand me. Which is fine. I don't care if people misunderstand me. What I care about is making an impact. What I care about is giving people the voice that they don't feel they have. I've had to learn the last little bit to set boundaries. I've had to learn to cut people off that were treating me poorly. I've had to be ridiculed and judged for having boundaries. And you know what? I am 26 years old now, and I'm at a point where I know what I want. Yeah, I have a disability. Yeah, I had seizures. Yeah, I can't do every single job out there. Yeah, I can't drive. But you know what I can do? I can make a damn impact. I can be a voice for people. I can help people. I can relate to people. I can work with kids. I can have a mindset that helps me. I can learn from my mistakes. I can grow. There's so many things that I can do, and for so long I hated myself for the things that I couldn't do. And with the support of loved ones and the support of my holistic coach, I have the help that I need. I have the support that I need. And I've come to terms that this is who I am. I can't change my childhood. I can't go back and erase everything. Everything happened, and all I can do is just own that and own who I am. And it's been hard, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a hard journey because, like I said, my disability and being rejected is not the only trauma I've had. But that's not what this is about. This is about putting something out there for people to finally learn that just because you don't see that someone is struggling, just because you don't see that someone, just because you think that someone like seems normal or seems like all put together, doesn't mean that they are. People struggle, okay? That's the reality of it, even if you don't see it. Okay? You want to know something? I once got fired from a job, and you know what they said? They said, well, your disability isn't physical. Yeah. Okay? And you know what's crazy? Every time a new person meets me, they don't even think that I have a disability because, yeah, it's not physical, but it's mental. And once people get to know me, they see it. But the thing is, like, I have so much wisdom, and I have such a unique personality and a unique brain that there's things that I know about life and other things that not everybody knows. I'm at a point in my journey now where I'm moving on with my life. I'm gonna go start my next chapter. I'm gonna go and continue on building my career, connecting with people, doing what I love, making podcasts, making content, inspirational videos, YouTube videos, connecting with people in my community, making genuine connections with friends, building a life for myself. That is what I'm going to continue to do. I am going to continue to do the things that I know I'm capable of. And it took me a lot of pain and a lot of trauma and dark days to finally accept who I am. But I'm telling you that digging yourself out of a hole and digging yourself out of a dark place is not a walk in the park. Growth isn't fucking easy, guys. It's not. It's messy. It's ugly sometimes, and it hurts. Why do you think a lot of people choose to stay the same and choose to settle for what they're in? Because they don't want to do the work, or they're scared. To me, I don't see life like that. To me, I want an extraordinary life. I want to live my life with freedom and fulfillment and love and joy and laughter. And I want to continue learning from my mistakes. I want to continue growing. Even if that's hard. Because the outcome, the results, the things that I want in my life are more important to me than going through the pain. I would rather go through the hard work to get where I want to go than stay the same for the rest of my life. And that's what I'm doing. So that's my story, and thank you for listening, and thank you for everybody that supported this project. And I love you guys, and yeah, just be yourself, speak up if you feel like you need to speak up, and don't let people discourage you, and don't let people control you. Do what makes you happy. Go after things you want to do. And know that you deserve to have a voice too.
So one good thing to take from this documentary is if you have a disability, don't let it define you. And if you know someone with this disability, don't define them by it. Jenna's never let her disability define her or make her who she is. She's always gone for her dreams. She's always tried to do what she wanted, and sometimes she failed, but we all fail, disability or not. So she didn't fail because of her disability. You know? So just don't let a disability define you. Don't let a disability stop you from doing what you want to do. And if you know someone with a disability, don't judge them on it. Don't define it on it. Anybody can do anything they set their mind to it. If you have a disability, it might be harder, but it's not impossible. So hopefully people come away with this realizing that no matter what, chase your dreams.
So one thing that I also want to mention for those who are watching this documentary is that one thing that I have really been proud of myself for is like my dad said, that I've never played the victim. You know, when I was younger, it was a lot different. Like when I was a teenager, you know, I went through that typical teenage phase where I thought I knew everything, right? As that's normal, whether you have a disability or not. But as I've gotten older, I've decided that disability or not, I want more for myself. I have a lot of ambition, and you know, yes, I've gone through some hard stuff with, you know, my disability, work, relationships, you know, a bunch of stuff, but I've always come through like a lot stronger. And you know, the biggest takeaway I hope you guys take from this is, doesn't matter whether you have a disability or not. Really, it's just all about going after your dreams and what you want. And you know, if you feel limited, just keep trying, don't give up, and just keep doing what you feel is best for you. And don't let people discriminate you. Don't let people judge you. And if they do, just realize that it's not you. And unfortunately, some people struggle to understand people with a disability. And so I've had a lot of issues with friendships in the past because I am a very misunderstood person, because my brain is not wired the same as other people's are. So, but that's okay, because it's what makes me unique.